Right, so here it is, the OBS, the software I was talking about. It's very convenient. And here is the Word file I was talking about, and this is what I got after making the last video, the second one. So here we can see the columns sorted out according to the type of the syllable and according to the position in the word. For example, here you can see that the first syllable is an open syllable where the syllable ends with a vowel, and as far as it's the E sound, the historically long E, then it's possible to have words like this. For example, I put here E, E's, like many E's, see, me, thee, even, like that's the full form of the article, T, be, we, free, and key. And the second column is the column that ends with the syllable that ends with a consonant, and then this consonant is a Lenis consonant. Lenis consonants in English are the so-called weak consonants. They're a little bit more balanced than the fortis ones. For example, the sound d and t. You can see that the airstream that's coming out of the lungs is stronger in t than in d. Like you can just put the hand on the stomach, on your belly, and then pronounce t and d, and then you can experience that. So Lenis consonants are generally the voiced consonants, and the fortis ones are voiceless. And here we can see that in this column, every word and every syllable ends in a Lenis consonant. This here, it ends with a d, and read, these, mean, need, reason, and all of these are Lenis consonants in the end. Here we can see all the fortis ones, like in the book Lebedinskaya, the book that most of my students are very familiar with, and so I hope. And then the fun part was when I actually got a question from one of my students who said, "But how do you sort out the words into these columns? Like how? Show us, please." And I thought, like, but then wasn't that what we did throughout the whole first semester when we basically did this thing? We were practicing Lebedinskaya a lot, and by now this principle is pretty much familiar, I hope. So this is the third. The third column is consonant, vowel, consonant, ending in a fortis consonant. Then consonant, vowel, consonant, ending in a lateral consonant. A lateral consonant is the only one. It's the only consonant in the English language. As a phoneme, I mean, it's the sound l, dark L, field, wheel, deal. It's a special column because this l sound has some special phonetic and phonological properties. Also, then the next syllable was when there was an unstressed syllable before the stressed one containing the target sound E. Believe, between, so we have the unstressed syllables here, B and B also. Then I had this one, Larissa, the name of my teacher, deleted, and also it contains an unstressed syllable before the stressed one and then after as well. So convenient, misleading, and this kind of stuff. And also, I divided these two syllables also according to the type of the consonant in the end of the stressed syllable. So here the syllable ends with a Lenis consonant, and here the syllable ends with a Fortis consonant. Here are also the other words where the stressed syllable is followed by a consonant vowel consonant unstressed syllables, and here we have a separate column. I actually have quite a few questions about how to work with this and structure this, because it's, I mean, there should be more than just one column, because unstressed positions, the unstressed positions are different also. But then here we have E, the sound E in the unstressed position, for example, maybe, and quarantine, so the teen here is unstressed, and re-record, re here is kind of, it has a stress, by the way, but it's not the main sort of stress in the word. And create also has this weird E here, and I also decided to put it separately. And here I am giving myself some hints at the bottom of the Word document on what to do while creating this video. It's actually, I've been making this video for more than 3 weeks now, and or 2, I don't know, time flies. So while I was creating this one, I left myself some like flags or some directions for making a video. It's like climbing like an Everest or something like that, and and the people who went before you, they leave some marks for you to follow, and this is what I did for myself, because I'm clearly improvising this, and I have forgotten everything I was planning this video to be like, you know, when I was writing this document. Right, so this is the first thing I did, is the sorting the words into these columns. Then I try to add auxiliary words like articles, prepositions, and so on. Only common sense, because I would say an E, that should probably be a noun. E's, plural noun, and I would maybe today I would add the or the definite article. It could be used here. The E's. To see, that's a verb, and I added to mark this. Me, I wouldn't say a me or the me, because it's weird. So it's an article already. Or I could say a the. That would be strange, like one of the articles. The tea, or just tea, because tea is uncountable. I would probably not really say a tea unless I mean a cup of tea. To be, it's a word. We, the we, also could be done, but then you see the problem already with which auxiliary words to add to these columns. To read, and a read could be a noun also, and it all depends on how I use it in the text, where I take the words from, and it's really starting to be confusing at the very least. So these here, also no auxiliary word, to mean, to need, and a reason. And you can see, if you just put the video on pause and just take a look at this table, yeah, you can see some of the awkward decisions I had to make, because this is just a it's the way of working up the ladder of language learning, of language levels. I'm sorry. So this is pretty weird. So I just added auxiliary words, and this is what I kind of wanted it to look like. Also, you can expand it just by saying free software, or free software. And also this article is pretty much unnecessary, but then I wanted to add as many auxiliary words as possible, and as many words connected with the initial one, to make it into this kind of snowball type exercise. Again, I left me some hints using subtitles, as you asked. Right, one of the students actually asked me to use subtitles, but then the cool thing about YouTube is that there are automatic subtitles, and I didn't get the problem in the first place. But yeah, for the first video, they didn't really make me any automatic subtitles. I don't know the reason why, but this is how life is. So I'm using my subtitles, and also reading the things that me from the past has left me from the present. I got stuck doing this thing for a couple of hours, actually. I wouldn't say for a couple of hours. I guess just this thing took me a couple of hours, maybe a day or two, I don't know. Choosing a good solid phrase with a target word is not an easy task. Yeah, indeed. I totally agree with me from the past. Actually choosing a phrase, an example phrase from the text is a difficult thing already. Moreover, there's most likely going to be more than one phrase. Indeed, we'll see it later on. Too much double work. This is the problem with all of this up the ladder of language levels thing. Just marking the part of the of speech in the columns is okay. Making the pyramids upwards is like trying to eat the Himalayas. Yeah, that's the... I don't know. Some stand-up comedian left me this joke, but then I love it. It's actually really like trying to eat the Himalayas. You get full after the first 2 or 3 spoons. Yeah, it's 3:14 a.m. when I'm writing this, and I'm about to quit, and I did. If you have any... Yeah, this one is a good thing. If you have any idea on how to organize this kind of language material into gradually forming speech patterns without too much work and effort, I would welcome your comments. And I'm totally with this. So, yeah. Right. And here I've already started doing this, looking for the phrases containing the word just by, again, Control F, and then just copying this and pasting into... No, that's the resolution, but I mean, you get the general idea how to do it. Just copy this into Control F into the searching field, and then you find all the phrases where I use this word. And as you can see, there are lots of them, especially with the word see, because I use it a lot. As you can see, yeah, here we can see the original lyrics. Also, you can see that there is a pause. I don't see some of the vowel sounds, but I hope I can see it. A lot of people don't see it, something like that. And another thing with this is that you can, if you remember the book by Davidoff that describes the rhythmic structures of English, that there are basically 5 rhythmic structures, and you can see that these sentences mostly contain 2 phrases, sometimes even more. This is another problem, because then you again need to do some double work. So yeah, we'll see that later on, but here you can also kind of notice that these sentences contain 2 phrases, so that's weird. Yeah, and again, I sorted them out by the type of syllable. Again, we have to yeah, you can pause any frame and look at it. And the only thing that I really wanted to share with you here is this nota bene thing with the word reason. For some reason it opened, and that's the only sentence that has this word in it. So reason, a reason, the reason, one reason, this reason, that reason, some reason, this reason, that, and then this reason and that reason. So in Russian, it says we need to organize the work on this word by visualizing, like accompanied by visualizing the zooming of the camera on the word. I don't know how to do it. It's like we need to first of all try to visualize what a reason looks like. And I will probably make a separate video about that, but the idea of connecting, somehow trying to visualize the work on articles and on determiners in a broader sense, that would be really interesting to explore. And then this was inspired by one of my teachers, Yelizarov Anatoly Nikolaevich, and he was an amazing person. He was a painter, and I'm not a painter. So this person taught me a lot about the language and how it works. So maybe someday I'll like dedicate a video to him or something like that, but I don't know. This is just something that I left here for myself to just remember. And then again, so number 3, syllables ending with fortis consonants, and not so many phrases. You can see again with and also you can put this on pause. Check. This thing also not too many, but with people I have a lot of sentences. And unstressed, also not too many. And now something only a computer can do without any trouble. So this is the thing why I guess distant learning and computer-based learning is a good thing, because you can do stuff that normally you wouldn't do, because you're trying to save the forests, you're trying to save the paper, and you know what I'm saying. And but then here with the computer, you can really just not worry about this. And I made it look a little more pleasant to the eye, and as you can see, it looks much more neat, much neater than just all of that, you know, just stuff. Okay, and then I just did this. Doesn't matter. I mean, I hope you can do it if you need to do it with your own words and with your own product. It's kind of important. I will explain why. This is where the fun begins. After just structuring all the words like that, the fun is when you start working on pronouncing these sentences. So this is what I did. First phrase or first sentence with to see, right? Here we can see the original lyrics. And again, you can notice that I made a pause here. Here we can see the original lyrics. So the verb phrase and the noun phrase. And then there are 7 words, 7 units or 7 items here. And then I made this kind of table to make it more convenient. Again, I left myself a notice here, and then it says press Ctrl-Shift-Q. This is the thing that this is not a combination in Word. I actually made an extra combination. You can make it too. It's not too difficult. So, and this table starts to look something like this. Right, and then what we do next is we do something like this. Again, I separated this, broke down the sentence into 2 phrases, then put the stresses. Again, I don't know how to do it more neatly, but this is how I could do it. And then you know this thing, like the snowball, the kind of thing, and this is how I prefer, this is how I used to work on difficult sentences all the time. So you just take the word, like see, then you go can see, then you go we can see, and then here we can see, right? And then this is now we get the phrase. Here we can see, and then you start working on the second phrase in the same fashion. Lyrics, original lyrics, the original lyrics, and then you get here we can see the original lyrics. That is actually a good thing from this working our way up the ladder of language phenomena. This way of creating the so-called pyramids to work on phrases within the sentence. So this is what I did for some of the sentences here. So, and okay, the next one. Also, you can see that there is a pause. And again, this one has 2 phrases in it. And this is the line here represents a pause between the phrases traditionally. So again, I broke it into 2 phrases, 9 items. Like also you can see that there is a pause. And then again, I did this thing. See, can see, you can see, also you can see, and then you try to work like that without changing any of the words. So if you notice that at some point this word can starts to be pronounced as can, I guess everybody does that. So if you go see, can see, you can see, and then if something changes here, you can go 1 step earlier. Okay? So pause, a pause is a pause. There is a pause, that there is a pause. And then you get, also you can see that there is a pause. Pretty cool, I guess. Nota bene is also, here I decided to explain why, like how you learn the number of items. It's very easy, by the way. You can see the number of items by selecting the sentence or the phrase and looking at the bottom left corner of the screen. It shows the number of words in the selected piece of text. Look. And the number of words it gives us 10, but it's only because I left this extra symbol. 9. You see? It's very easy. Just don't put the extra symbols. Okay. And I don't see some of the vowel sounds. Again, I don't see some of the vowel sounds. You see? This is kind of interesting. But here we are beginning to face some difficulties. The stress structure depends on the speed here and on the logical structure of the sentence. Like, it depends on how quickly you pronounce the sentence, and also it depends on the word you choose to put the primary stress on. It is important. And then here I could shift it. I could start from vowel, vowel, vowel sound, or vowel, the vowel sound. And then I would shift the stress from the word sounds to the word vowel. And that could mean something different. А ящик просто открывался. Okay? Ларчик, то есть. Okay. I don't see. I mean, it depends, right? Whether you decide to put it on don't or on see. See, don't see, I don't see. Or if you go don't see, I don't see. That's a little different. So, again, it depends on the tempo that you choose to read the sentence in, and on the logical structure of the sentence. A lot of people don't see it. A lot of people, I still don't know how to form a pyramid out of the phrases of this kind with a lot of. I guess that is what you need. This is why you need theoretical grammar. This is what you need theoretical grammar for. I mean, this a lot of, I don't really know how to phrase that. Don't see it. In the second phrase, the way you decide to structure the pyramid depends on the part of the phrase you see as the most difficult to pronounce. It depends on the part which you find the most difficult. Also, if you just decide to emphasize don't, the stress structure will also change, right? And I mean, this is reasonable. Like if you go people, of people, lot of people, a lot of people, I don't like it. A lot of people. Then here I did a crappy job. So we need to think about that together, and hopefully you get some ideas. See, don't see it. A lot of people don't see it. And then you can just pronounce the sentence consciously, not just willy-nilly, as I said in that. Did it? Does it happen? I don't know. This is interesting. I'm not sure about these things I'm going to say in the next part of the video, or I actually said before, because now this is the last thing from the video I'm working on. This spontaneous speech, unprepared speech. Okay, so, but I hope I can see it. But I hope I can see it, right? Hope, but I hope. See, can see, I can see it, right? Again, here we can see a good example of the secondary stress in a phrase. Where can we see it? I can see it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Now, again, without an explanation, this is just an ordinary sentence. But then if you read it more carefully, you see that here I have this exclamation point, and here I just have a line a little bit under the word. So this is a little different symbol I was trying to put here. So like a stick above the stressed word is the primary stress, and the stick a little bit below the stressed word is the secondary stress. And I can see it. Then I is the primary stress, and see it. That's this is what goes after the nucleus, the nuclear tone of the phrase. Again, I guess I need to make another video about that, about the phrase structure and things like that. But these videos are mainly for my students, and we've talked about it like forever. And I hope that you remember the structure of a phrase, that there is like a head and a nucleus, and then there's a prehead, head, nucleus, and the tail of a phrase. So the main part where the intonation changes is the nucleus. And here, in this phrase, the nucleus is I, because I wanted to emphasize that it's just my thing. Like, I hope I can see it. Because, you know, because I also usually don't. I don't see the stuff I'm talking about in these videos. Right. Nota bene, if we are going to print these tables, we can simply put the two phrases side by side. Again, on the computer, you don't really have to save space, you know, just squares or, you know, rectangles. But if you're going to print this for your students, then a good idea would be to just do this. Just put the phrases side by side and then just work hope, I hope, but I hope, see, can see, I can see it, but I hope I can see it, right? And then you can work on it, and it doesn't take a lot of space on paper, and then you can actually print it. Nota bene, press print screen. Why? Okay. Why did I do it again? I don't know. So, it was crazy, that guy. Okay, again, me. Stand by me. 3 items. This is a phrase from the song, and as such, you need to organize the pyramid according to the musical intonation. I guess here, however, I just put it as a neutral, uncolored phrase. Uncolored phrase. Do you see the point here? So the thing is that it's a musical phrase, and like the melody in a song is more important than the syntactic structure and the intonation of a phrase within a language. So the musical intonation is more important. But here you can just me, by me, stand by me. But then again, any of these 3 words could be highlighted by the use of different musical means of expression. Okay? Again, imagine how much time it takes to fish out the sentences with the words from the columns. Bearing in mind that it's only the first sound, long E, not the most frequently used sound in this text. Far from it. I mean, I've only tasted 1 spoon of the Himalayas. Check it out. This is quite a thing. Right, and I probably stopped at this point. So just here, that's T. It's easy. I wonder, could there be a simplified variant of recording these phrases? Again, a nice question. You probably could write it just this way, like T, use this, arrow, that's T, right? And then you don't have to draw all these complicated tables and things like that. Again, saves a lot of space, but only when you, as a student or as a teacher, learn to visualize it very thoroughly and very clearly. Otherwise, again, this is simplifying, but then sometimes the shortest way is the longest. Remember that. So this is probably unchanged. Again, this is where I had to stop myself because time is money, and I didn't want to spend anyone's money in vain. All right, that was an angry, passive-aggressive thing. But this is probably like late at night. I don't know. Who knows? I don't remember. Right, and here, this is a PS, postscriptum, I guess. And I wrote quite a lot here and decided to give a little hint on the next part of the video that you're about to watch. I guess you need to find a characteristic place where the target word is read in a certain way, holds a certain place in the intonation contour, in the syntagma. Like, what I mean here is that probably this whole intonation contour or syntagma structure or phrase structure, like, we could probably arrange these columns from the first part here, depending not only on the structure of the syllable that the sound occurs in, but also maybe on the part of the, depending on the part of the syntagma or the part of the phrase that the word actually occurs in. And then all of these phrases could also be kind of structured in a better way, in a more logical way. And then it could be more intuitive for students and for us, for teachers, to work on. Because sometimes teachers also have to teach themselves, okay? A lot of times. And make some mistakes in grammar and pronunciation. Right. So this is the one of the points that I wanted to share with myself in the future. I'm trying to prove a point here. This is so arrogant. I hate this. Like, rereading this is crazy. It's like talking to yourself or to an angry kid. It's much more efficient to structure the phrases according to their rhythmic structure first. This makes sense. Again, Davidoff, 5 rhythmic structures. And then you structure the phrases according to that. And then, got carried away. Only 5 rhythmic structures and their variants. And then, possibly, by the sound in them. This pyramid work should come from necessity, not as a must for all the students. What do I mean here? Like, the preparation on that level of language should be conducted with the help of Lebedinsky and Davidoff books. It takes a lot of time. And it like at first, like first couple of texts probably should be worked on very thoroughly and consciously. But then, when the student has mastered this way of working and on structuring the sentence for reading, then this whole thing could be omitted and you could just start reading. Okay? So, again, the preparation on that level of language should be conducted with the help of Lebedinsky and Davidov books. Then, only if an issue comes about, an issue, that was a way of saying a problem, then only if an issue comes about, the teacher prescribes, like a doctor, a set of exercises leading up to the target phrase and results in its correct pronunciation. So, this is, you only do all that, all this pyramid work, if a mistake comes along, and if it's a systematic mistake, right? This is the point of that past me. Where did I? Yeah. I mean, if there's a mistake on either level of the phonetic system of English in a certain phrase, the teacher highlights the phrase in the student's script that he writes. The students should then make a pyramid of that phrase. The student measures the amount of time that he or she needs for that. This is a nice thing. Like, then you can also just measure the time that you need to do this or that task. Not just to say, oh, I need 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days, this is not very effective time management. I'll repeat. The student measures the amount of time that he or she needs for that. Then a teacher, together with the students, could plan the deadline for submitting this structuring assignment. The pyramid or pyramids depending on the number of mistakes. The teacher can also record his own working time on completing one pyramid. So, I haven't done this time, but this is just an idea. Then there could be a meaningful dialogue about time management between the teacher and the students. So this is nice. I don't remember this one. Упражнение на понимание отдельного предложения. Oh, this is like mind-blowing stuff. I like this kind of ideas, but I'm not sure that I can, again, accomplish this alone. Упражнение на понимание отдельного предложения. Не пытаться переводить со студентом предложение дословно, когда студент делает ошибку. Например, в переводе или в понимании, например, какого-нибудь предложения. Фрактальность в упражнениях на чтение. Фрактальность. То есть, как мы работаем над текстом в целом, также мы работаем над пониманием предложений отдельно. По степеням ударности слов в предполагаемом учителем предложении... О, Господи, что же тут написал-то? По степеням, или по степеням, я думаю, по степеням ударности слов в предполагаемом учителем прочтении предложения. So, I guess what I was trying to say here was that this pyramid actually resembles the like the gradation of importance of a certain word in the sentence. Like, this is not just a peak of a phrase, but it's also a peak of importance. And then you can work on understanding these sentences and phrases. In a similar way as working on texts for reading and listening. I'm going to talk about this in the next part of the video. But then if you're still with me here, then just add 2 plus 2. This can be fun. This can be fun. I mean, with the circles, when you see the concentric circles as a scheme for reading the first time, second time, and the third time. This thing is, it could be relevant not only for texts, but also for sentences, and not just as we usually do, just translate the sentence word for word. And then the student, it takes so much time, and students hate it, and it's not very efficient, right? I mean, again, we could argue about that, but then this is why I'm saying this. Let's think about it together. This kind of research, or of search, I mean, sorry for crappy reading, because I've just recorded all of this video, and then this is the last part, and then I'm just dead. This kind of research again, this kind of search by a target word throughout the text could be helpful in order to establish a leitmotif or something like that. However, just building up a Look, I'm kind of dead right now. Sorry, but it's very difficult, even for me, to read a sentence right now, right? You can clearly see that. And this is why I prepared this for times of trouble, you know. This kind of search by target word throughout the text could be helpful in order to establish a leitmotif or something like that. However, just building up a phonetic routine this way is pretty pointless. So it's cool if you want to see how many times one word occurs in the text or enters the text. It's fine. But then just to build up a phonetic routine of preparing a text for reading, too much work, too much time. I'm such a lazy person and I hate it. So, and I guess we all are. Let's not let's not try to deceive ourselves. Like, yeah, we're so hardworking. No, nobody likes extra work. So it should be more effective and more efficient. Nota bene. Looks like stylistic compendium. Phonetics compendium. Right, that's if you are the students of Pskov State University, at some point you had to write a compendium in stylistics. Like, you take a text, you analyze all the stylistic devices you can find from this text. Like, you take Terry Pratchett, whatever, The Color of Magic, and you analyze it from the stylistic point of view. And then you create the compendium of all the stylistic devices you could find in that book. So it could be a similar, it could be a similar thing. We could do a similar thing with phonetics, I guess. And it would actually be similar. And also it could be an addition to the stylistic compendium. Do you see? It doesn't have to be different things. Like, the things you learn in one subject doesn't have to be different from the thing you learn in the other subject. They could be linked. They could be connected. They could even be just talking about the same thing. So, yep, that ends this part of this video. You can rewind it or you can watch it. It's up to you. The fun thing about videos like that is that like people just watch 1 minute and the video itself is like 1.5 hours. So it's pretty strange, but again, people should have a choice of whether they want to study or not. And if they want to study, they should probably try to make it more effective. Right? So I don't really remember where this thing should be leading to, but then probably this is all. An hour. My God, this is ridiculous. Okay, hope that you find the next part of the video helpful.